Well, hello everybody, welcome back to OTC Fish Keeper. And today I'm not going to bring you anything too glamorous or glitzy. Today I'm going to bring you the basic grind of owning fish tanks. The thing is, a lot of people, they see the fish tanks, they see the fish, they think, oh, that's so cool, it's so neat to see the fish swimming around. And a lot of times they don't put into thought what's going to go into maintaining that fish tank. And it's a very important subject because, you know, unless you just simply want to buy fish, have them die, and buy more fish, which is not nice for the fish or for you or for your wallet, then you got to think ahead of time that there's a fair amount of maintenance that goes along with taking care of fish tanks, especially Oscar tanks or any aggressive fish, any big eaters like that. In this case, I've fed the guys today already, and they've already made their mess, so I'm going to have to get in here now, and I'm going to have to do at least a partial water change here. And this tank was also bothering me because I had those copepods, or copepods, whatever they are. And that was bothering me because I just didn't like the look of them. You know, they were harmless. I've looked it up many times. I've checked with several people in the fish trade, and the copepods are harmless, but I just didn't like their look. Didn't like them being in my tank. Now, come to find out, one of the things they do is they actually do a pretty nice job of cleaning up leftover food and debris in your tank. I found that as I was feeding the Oscars shrimp, I cut up the shrimp, whatever shrimp they didn't eat, and hit the bottom, the copepods, they dug in on those things quick. But I had so many in here, I just didn't feel comfortable with them in a tank. I wanted to thin them out some. So until I can get small fish in here that can eat them, I'm going to do some regular water changes here. And you can see the stuff coming up with the gravel clean. And this is actually the third time this week I've cleaned this gravel in this exact spot. But yeah, the Oscars, a lot of people don't even put gravel or substrate into Oscar tanks because they can make such a mess and there's so much to clean up. It's just easier that way. But I like the gravel. I think it looks nice. And if I'm going to have a tank like this, well, then I'm going to go ahead and have the Oscars in there and have the gravel in there to make it look the way I like it. But now, I'm going to have to spend a bit of time cleaning up the gravel. Earlier this week, I did a 50% water change, and I siphoned all the gravel. The very next day, I did a 30% water change and siphoned all the gravel. And that's been about 3 days. So this is about 3 days worth of cleanup. You got Oscars like this, you should be cleaning this tank up at least once a week and doing very regular water changes. I'd say at least 25-30% a week would be great. Although honestly, 50% a week would not be a bad thing at all either. Besides the two Oscars, of course, I have two Jack Dempseys in this tank. The Jack Dempseys are hiding in this log most of the time. And I'm thinking I'm going to try to find a new home for the Jacks. I'm going to put them in a different tank because all they do is hide all the time. And I feel like they're getting themselves busted up a little bit on that plastic log. So I want to get the log out, but I don't want to do that while they're still in with the Oscars because that's their best protection if the Oscars get frisky. So for now I'll leave them in there. But as soon as I get another tank set up, I'm going to take them out. I may even put them in a 55 briefly just to until I get another 125 set up for them. So now I'm just going to siphon out some of this water, siphon up this gravel, and then I'm going to get about a 20-25% water change here on this tank. I would do more, but I've been hitting it up pretty hard lately, so it should be fine with a slightly smaller change today. Okay, got the water down to about the level I want. So I'm going to stop the suction just by bringing the hose out of the water. I'm going to hold it for a few seconds though because there's enough water in the hose on the way out the door to start suction back up. And then I'm just going to go to the other end of the hose, which is draining conveniently right by the spout. And so I will simply hook it up and reverse the direction. Okay, we got it turning around now. About 20–25% taken out. Now the water's coming in instead of going out. In just a couple of minutes, tank will be filled back up. And again, I can do this with the hose because my area does not put any chemicals in the water, which is probably also why I got the copepods. On the plus side, the regular siphoning of the gravel a couple times a week has greatly reduced the copepods. So they're down to a number I feel much more comfortable with. And I'll just keep that up just to keep them out. Before you could see them all the way up against the black glass there where the Oscars are hiding right now. They were swimming up and down that glass really badly. And now they're not on the glass at all. Just on the gravel in a few spots. Doesn't seem to affect the Oscars one way or the other, but they do absolutely love those regular water changes. Even more than regular now, because I'm doing it like 2–3 days a week instead of just once a week, or sometimes once every 2 weeks, which really isn't even enough. They do seem to be growing really nicely, and they get along really well together, so I'm really happy with that. Just got to find a home for the new Jack Dempsey's, which is probably going to be this empty tank right here. It's probably going to be where the Jack Dempsey's go, but we'll see. I have to let my electrician finish working on the basement, hooking up more sockets for me so I can hook up more tanks. And now we just got to refill the tank. Okay, got the tank all filled back up. Just gonna wipe off a little water so it looks pretty. The Oscars not showing it yet, but they're very happy to have the fresh water. There we go. One quick water change for one tank. It's not too bad with one tank. I've got 8 tanks right now set up. It makes it a little bit rougher, but it's well worth it. It's a lot of fun. I enjoy it a ton. It'll be a lot easier when I have them all in my fish room here instead of all over the house. So until next time, be sure to keep those tanks changed, keep those fish happy, and enjoy yourself. See you next time.